like to welcome you at the start of the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you so much for inviting me for this presentation. Basically, theme of this presentation is delivering cybersecurity education, cyber education in higher educational institutions. My name is Mazhar Malik. I'm Associate Director, Head of Intelligent Systems at University of West of England, Bristol. I'm working with BCS as a volunteer since a couple of years. That is, since 7 to 8 years I passed with BCS. I'm PhD in cybersecurity. I'm chartered engineer. Along with this, I'm fellow of BCS. I work assessor for fellowship applications and chartered IT professional as well. And I'm senior member of IEEE. My focus, along with my cybersecurity research, is into learning and teaching, whether that is learning and teaching of general modules or that can be particularly related to cybersecurity. And I'm associated with world-leading journals and conferences where I contribute. So this is all about me, and the theme which I'm going to talk today is how we can deliver cybersecurity education in higher educational institutions and which type of challenges we are facing and how we can avoid or overcome those challenges. Right? If I recall the agenda, we will focus on, after the introduction, challenges in cyber education. What can be, along with challenges, I will be talking about impact of these challenges or importance of these challenges to address solutions for higher educational institutions. I will briefly talk about COVID-19 challenges, how we can leverage cloud computing platforms to deliver our cyber education, and what can be potential future directions in cyber education. So these are, and at the end of the session, definitely I will be taking questions. So let me start this with introduction. So as I discussed, that this webinar is designed to address the evolving landscape of cybersecurity and digital forensic in higher educational institutions. And this field is very crucial, especially when we talk about cyber threats. When we talk about digital world, cyber threats are increasing because digital world is increasing its size. And that's bring a very important and crucial role of higher educational institutions, that they should able to produce competent professionals who can safeguard this information and investigate the cybercrime. So my focus will be to identify the challenges which higher educational institutions are facing and how higher educational institutions can offer effective cybersecurity and forensic programs. And we will discuss some best practices to address these challenges. If I sum up the challenges into 5 broad categories, I can say that cyber educational can have 5 major challenges. So we can categorize them into 5 major areas of challenges. The first one is a rapidly evolving landscape. We know that in the field of cyber, there are ongoing challenges all the time. This landscape is continuously increasing. I mean, a lot of challenges are coming into cyber landscape. If we look at the threats with the passage of time, we are coming across with latest threats. If we look at the challenges related to how we can keep ourselves updated with latest curriculum, so this is another challenge. So it's quite challenging landscape which we need to keep in mind. Lack of qualified instructors. If we look at the context of UK higher education, cybersecurity, along with digital forensic, is something which is lacking staff. All the higher educational institutions in UK, they are suffering from lack of qualified staff, or there is a big skill set gap. And to cover that skill set gap, higher educational institutions are keen to hire people outside the UK, but still that shortage is still there. We have resources constraints. This is another very important challenge. When we talk about resources constraints in higher educational institutions, one of the resource constraint is laws and regulations of countries that how cyber domain can operate. There are legal aspects. There are challenges related to infrastructure, which universities or higher educational institutions are providing. So infrastructural issues are there, adherence to regulations, which, as I said, and cybersecurity skill gap. Skill gap is very important. If we look at the market is demanding cybersecurity skills, but the potential skill set which is available, that is not able to produce the ready to work graduates, I can say, which can be directly employable. So there is a skill gap which we need to address. Why we need to address these challenges? There are 5 pillars behind this, which we need to keep in mind, which we need to consider when we are addressing these challenges. First one is cyber security preparedness. We need to be prepared for cybersecurity challenges. As I recall in my intro, that cybersecurity is very dynamic field. Every day we are coming across with different type of cybersecurity challenges, which we need to think about, which we are trying to fix them. Along with that, when we talk about how we can keep ourselves updated with cybersecurity curriculum, that is another challenge, that how we can keep ourselves, and it is very important to address these things. Protecting crucial infrastructure. If we take ourselves back 3 years, in 2020, the cybersecurity, along with data, that can be data science, protection of digital data, was very crucial, and the cyber attacks was increased. So some studies says that the ratio of what I can say risk factor related to cyber crimes was increased by 100% as compared to previous years in 2020 and 21. So this is something like it is very crucial to protect the critical infrastructure. We come across with many newses throughout these 3-4 years, and still we are coming across with these type of things, that all type of different what I can say pillar of economy, whether those are manufacturing sectors, whether that is educational sector, manufacturing, or whatever is that is under cyber attack. And there are many cases where different, even higher educational institutions, schools, primary, secondary, they are struggling with cybersecurity issues related to their infrastructure. So protecting critical infrastructure, whatever type of businesses, whether that is government entity or educational institutions or different pillars of economy that have badly impacted, or we need to protect them. Economic impact is another pillar. As I said, economic impact of cybersecurity is very big. When we talk about one of the branch of information, it's in cybersecurity, that is called information risk management, and we give the example of iceberg. So cyber cyber attacks on any organization, on their infrastructure, can have very big economic impact, because the impact of these type of attacks or risk can have iceberg type situation where we will not able to measure the impact of this type of risk. Privacy and data protection, this is another thing we need to address in cybersecurity. Privacy and data protection in if we talk about context of higher education institutions, that is student staff data, student whatever type of personal data, academic data, and all these things, these all are under stack. And there are many cases. If we look at the internet and we try to find what was happening in last 3-4 months, even in UK, there is a case study from one of the higher educational institution that was facing the issues of data protection and privacy, and that higher educational institution went down for a couple of months to restore back to normal. National security is another thing. These are 5 pillars, which important factors which are giving us the sense that there is the need to address these challenges. If we talk about how addressing the cybersecurity challenges in higher educational institutions, I try to put them into 9 broad categories, how we can address cybersecurity challenges. So these 9 broad categories are focusing on some sort of directions. On perhaps these directions can help us to think about how we can minimize or eliminate the cybersecurity challenges in higher education. One of the things is curriculum flexibility, then faculty development, industry collaborations, research and innovation, accreditation, cybersecurity competitions, simulation labs, cross-disciplinary education and advisory board. So I will talk about these things one by one. Curriculum flexibility. When we talk about curriculum flexibility, due to nature of cybersecurity programs, it is very important that our curriculum is adaptable and that can accept rapid changes into cyber landscape. So if I recall what is happening with us is with respect to curriculum flexibility, as a higher educational institutions overall, we are lacking in curriculum flexibility because it's an iterative process, and especially in this particular domain, the iteration should be very fast, not like normal iteration of reviewing curriculum after every 2, 3, 4 years like that, or sometimes 5 years. Curriculum flexibility we need to inject into our cyber education. I want to give example here. If we talk purely into cybersecurity education, and if we focus on digital forensic, we will notice that our digital forensic education curriculum is not that much updated overall. If we talk about, sometimes we have limitations of tools. We have tools, but there is a limitation on tools. Perhaps tools are outdated, or the infrastructure we are using, whether that is softwares, that is some sort of images for student studies, or whatever it is, that have some limitations. So curriculum flexibility is something that we need to review these things so frequently, and that will help us to allowing for regular updates to keep pace for emerging threats and technologies. Faculty development, especially in cyber education. If I recall what was happening when teaching was moved to online teaching, one of the issue which which cybersecurity education was facing was faculty development. And it was come across, I published some research work and I conducted some research on that. But if we search on internet, we will come across that one of the factors which we need to address is how staff faculty can be developed, whether that is development related to technology enhanced teaching, that how staff can use different technology tools, whether that is Blackboard, that is Moodle, Canvas, or whatever platform they are using. So there is a need that staff development should be addressed in a way that they can use technology enhanced tools in an effective way. One of the study which I was conducting, I realized that 90% of staff, they are not aware how to do group work, how to build a group work while teaching online for students, how we can create groups online and how students can work online in a group. I mean, these are small things, along with providing trainings which can be related to how something, a particular module, whether that is information risk management, cybersecurity in general, or digital forensic, or any other branch, how that can happen, can be delivered on campus base and as well as on online basis, how we can bring student engagement into this one and all these things. And along with this, updating staff with latest developments, whether that is ongoing talks like BCS is doing related to recent trends, or any other faculty development programs which are going on into different universities or into our own universities where we work, or what. So we need to build staff development. It's good to have knowledge of certifications related to our domain. I mean, that can help students also, definitely that can contribute into student experience. Industrial collaborations. And one of the things which is very demanding these days, and it's open a lot of opportunities, especially in cyber domain, is industrial collaborations. Organizations are very keen to build industrial partnerships now, as this is not like before, like 4 or 5 years ago. Now all organizations, whether those are small, medium, or large organizations, they are paying a lot of attention towards industrial collaborations. That's bringing up a lot of KTPs, KTAs, and PhD funds and MSc funds. So I mean, that's reflect that there is a big opportunity to have industrial collaboration into cyber domain that will provide basically our students real world experience, whether that is through internships, that is through case study, which we will inject into our practices. I mean, one of the industrial, I mean, if we talk about digital forensic, in digital forensics, when students are investigating some sort of forensic evidences, so industrial collaboration, I can see that in one of my case, they help us to provide a case which student was investigating. So that is a real world experience they will that happened through industrial collaboration. We can I want to mention another point here. In industrial collaboration, when we will inject case studies and real world examples and all these things, it will also allow us to move into research-based teaching, especially when students are into level 5 and 6, particularly into final year. So research enhanced teaching will increase. When we inject research enhanced teaching into our curriculum, that increase the student experience, that also increase towards staff development, that also contribute towards staff development, faculty development, because faculty will be looking at different case studies, will be injecting their research into their curriculum. Research and innovation. We can encourage faculty and staff to engage in research and innovations in cybersecurity and digital forensic. And when we talk about research and innovation, now research and innovation in cyber domain is very versatile now. It's not focusing purely related to computing domain or anything like that. Now this cyber education move into different sectors, whether that is a business, that is health sector, that is law sector, that is psychology. So basically cyber education is injected into different fields of life, and that give us opportunity to build some interdisciplinary work. We can work with different departments, different colleges in our universities or higher educational institutions or in our industry, which will build a different type of research culture, and we will think out of box for cyber education. Accreditations. It is very important when we deliver cyber education, we should have accreditation from professional bodies. BCS is doing accreditation for computing programs and all these things. We have accreditation body of NCSC in cybersecurity. Those who are familiar with American system, American Board of Engineering and Technology, they ensure the quality and relevance of this programs. So in case of cyber education of UK context, one of the thing is aligning our education with NCSC, cyber security body of knowledge. This is something which is very useful when we will align our programs, or we will think in that direction, that how we can align our cyber programs with respect to professional bodies. That will help us a lot. That will help us in a way that we will able to contribute towards these professional bodies in a way that we will able to adopt the latest curriculum. We will able to think about the latest curriculums as per guidelines of these professional bodies, and then that will keep our program up to date. So this is something like we need to keep in mind. And in some cases of UG, it is also a PG, UG undergraduate program. It is also a useful model that if we align some of the modules with different professional certifications, like a certified hacker or CISSP or something like that, so that can be injected somewhere in our modules, because some of the students are very keen on this one, and this is need of the market also, that when we talk about industry, they are very keen on these type of certifications. Cybersecurity competitions. We can encourage our students to participate different type of events, like that can be capture the flag event, or that can be different type of hackathons which are conducted by different professional bodies. Even BCS is conducting, different other universities are conducting some sort of hackathons. That is very useful, because students will able to get some hand-on experience, and they will build their problem solving skills. And basically these all activities, whether industrial collaboration or cybersecurity competition, and all these things are basically helping us to fit the cybersecurity gaps which we are facing in market, and that will ultimately contribute to fulfill the gaps area, the shortage area. Simulation labs. This is something very close to my heart related to cyber education. We can establish simulation labs, well-equipped cybersecurity labs, where students can practice their skill in control environment, mirroring real-world scenarios. The biggest challenge which we learned since last 4 years was cybersecurity infrastructure, which we can use to deliver cyber education. And one of the most challenging thing is to look at the simulation labs and figuring out how much we are confident to deliver cyber education online, which type of tools we can use, and how we are up to those tools. So normally universities and higher educational institutions, whether colleges or universities, they're lacking about simulation-based infrastructure, virtual infrastructure. In many cases, it was very difficult to transition from on-campus cyber education to online education, because that was bounded through infrastructure, and we was not thinking in a way that how this cyber education can be supported online, and we was lacking in tools. We was not able to comfortable with these tools. Even the companies industry was not that much keen to develop these type of tools, but now slowly things are coming up. Perhaps you will notice in your domain that there are many new things which are popping up, but these simulation labs are really powerful in campus, or that can be converted online. But still there is a lot of gap. If we talk about digital forensic, there is a lot of gap in case of cyber education. There are gaps which we need to address in this particular area. So focus should be like a developing simulation-based labs which can allow students to work from their home, not only from the campus when they are practicing things. Because normally when we are teaching cyber education and when we are giving them some activities, students spend a lot of time in front of computers. It gives them more flexibility if their tools allows them to work from the home, or they are using tools which have this type of flexibility along with the resource requirements of their laptops. Let's suppose they are using, it should run on normal machine, which is very challenging in case of cyber, because we work on images and all these things. Cross-disciplinary education, which I was talking before, disciplinary approaches integrating cyber education into different fields. I was talking about business, laws, and healthcare to address specific industry needs. One of the things which we are lacking in cross-disciplinary, that is a cross-disciplinary education. In many cases, we are teaching cybersecurity education, but we are not teaching how this is connected with the law. Let's suppose we are preparing the student to be a forensic analyst, let's suppose. But if those analysts are not able to present their evidences into courtrooms, then there will be a gap on that. So it is very important to bridge these gaps, to come up with interdisciplinary research and identifying the gaps, that how we can cover these gaps. That will make this program more fruitful, and that will capture a wider range of audience. Next thing is advisory boards. It is important to inject advisory boards where we can bring industrial experts. They can provide guidance on program development and ensuring that how these programs can be aligned with industrial standards. Normally in universities and higher educational institutions, we have advisory boards. In some particular cases, like a cybersecurity, there is a need to have advisory board from academia and industry, and there is a need to have a higher frequency of meetings. So these advisory boards can help the institutions to develop the programs in an effective way and to understand the market needs and working according to the market needs. If we talk about why these things are there, some of the points are coming again, but there is a importance of adopting the change. We were talking about there is a threat landscape, evolving threats landscape. Every time things are changing. Industrial demands are changing now. This is very important point. Industrial demands are changing. And we need to ask question to ourselves that how much we are picking the industrial demand and which type of collaboration we have with industry, whether we are catering their demand and we are developing things accordingly. National security and economic impact we discussed. Global research and innovation. Research enhanced teaching can be injected in UG and PG level. That will be very helpful. That injecting real world case studies, latest case studies. I can see many cases. Perhaps you also come across with many cases where you will be agree that our contents are outdated. We have the guidelines, we are following the guidelines even from the professional bodies, but we need to look at whether our contents are updated or not, whether still we are using the old softwares, I can say, or the learning material is very old. Global relevance is another point. Global relevance mean that if we are teaching cyber education and we are talking about laws, so it is very important to contextualize that one in a way that have a global perspective, and that can be diluted through, I can say, case studies or whatever, to different to a global relevance. So if students is coming from the different countries, so if we contextualize that particular module related to their country and bringing case studies related to their contents, the continents, then that will build more relevance, and that will increase their motivation to do things. If, for example, if we are delivering information risk management related things, so we know that we can have ISO frameworks and we can have some other frameworks. It's important to give students hand-on experience, though can practice on multiple frameworks. So ultimately, they will have knowledge of ISO or whatever it is. So it's important to bring some relevance global relevance. Student success. Ultimately, our main point is how we can contribute towards student success, how we can enhance the student successful. So if we look at the factors or challenges which I was talking about and some possible solutions which I was discussing, that will be definitely contributing towards student experience, where students' experience will be enhanced, or there is a potential to enhance student experience. Addressing COVID-19 type challenges, if we look at what was happening in COVID and how things was happening and which type of challenges was there, some of the things I try to mention here, we moved from, we shifted to remote learning. Even that was cyber education. We moved to remote learning. And when we moved to remote learning, that was coming up with the challenge that how we can effectively deliver this one. Increased cyber threats, as we talk about increased cyber threats during this time. Digital inequality. Digital inequality means that in different part of the world, there was a digital inequality. The infrastructure is in a way that it was not supporting, or it was coming up with the challenges of digital inequality, whether that is internet speed or that is quality of resources and so on. Mental health impact was on both sides, whether that is student or staff who went through the mental health impact. Strategies for overcoming challenges during the pandemic, which normally we was adopting and we was thinking in that way. Enhanced cybersecurity measures with respect to our infrastructure. We try to adopt flexible curriculum mode. Organizations was thinking, or higher educational was thinking that how we can deliver cyber education by meeting the learning outcomes of the modules or programs. And everyone was coming up with the different strategies. And now, like these professional bodies, they are very keen, and they are coming up with different type of assessment strategies, and program objectives and module program objectives. Ultimately, that will be diluted into module objectives, that how we can make sure that our education is uninterrupted. So investment in technology is there, whether that is industry or academia. Flexible delivery models was one of the solution. We used different way, block delivery, whatever mode was there. Mental health support was introduced, especially digital initiatives. Different type of digital initiatives was injected. And in cyber education, or normally in education, if you are related to higher educational, you will be coming across that different type of strategies was adopted. Different type of strategies was adopted related to related to minimize the impact of a pandemic on student experience. So universities was coming up with different type of policies, safety net and so on. So basically that was contributing to these type of strategies. One of the I will share one of the case study link. That is one of the case study from which I published during the pandemic, and that was which type of challenges we was facing and how we overcome with these challenges related to delivery of cyber education. And then there is another study which I will share through a Zoom link, that will be like how machine learning was helping us to perform some data analysis and to predict that how we can apply safety net without affecting the student performance or without disadvantaging student. It is important to think about how we can use cloud computing for cyber education, leveraging the cloud computing. This is something which is very hot topic, and this is something where we can utilize cloud computing to have an effective cyber education delivery. How? And cybersecurity, cloud computing can come up with a lot of unique benefits, which was coming as a challenge in our previous cases. Scalability, when students are confined to work only in lab, and for cyber education, or they had a limited infrastructure even to take it as home on their computer where they can run some lab simulations, that is not something like which is solving 100% of the problem. Still, there is a challenge of how to scalable. Cloud can help you. Remote access, because you are using remote resources, so you don't need a sophisticated computer which will handle a very high size of forensic image or whatever is there. So these clouds can help you a lot. Microsoft Azure, very famous on this one. Bringing cybersecurity resources into these type of cloud security platforms can really helpful, and that's lead to one of the point for us as a cybersecurity students. I can say that how we can develop our contents, how we can upgrade our content, so those can be aligned with the latest need, where students can get experience of how cloud computing can be useful for cyber education. And cloud computing is cost effective, definitely, and it has helped us to keep real-time updates. We have different type of Google workspace for education. Google is using Microsoft Azure for education, cloud type LMS in UK is very common, but still in some part of countries, some continents, this is not common. But cloud type LMS, whatever we are using, that is something. Amazon Web Services, AWS, Educate is very powerful. Azure is very powerful. One of the study which I was trying to do is I realized that still only 10% of universities in cyber education, they are focusing on Azure for education, or they are using purely cloud platform for cyber education. And this is something where we can grow significantly and we can pay attention into this particular domain. And we know that flexibility, cost saving, security, because you don't need to think about security of cloud platform. Scalability is very easy, and that can help us to bring real-time collaborations. So we all are well aware about these type of clouds benefits. Future directions in cybersecurity. We can have continuous technology enhancements. It is time to move from our traditional cybersecurity tools, whether we are using in our labs or whether students are carrying through their USBs or whatever is there, to move towards cloud platforms, purely cloud platforms, where they can have opportunity to work from anywhere on their tools without considering that this tool will be supported, oh, this tool is not working on my laptop or so on. So technology enhancements are very important. It is important to bring the global connectivity into cyber education. Global connectivity can be in many forms: knowledge exchange, staff development, that can be global connectivity through which online education is also doing. Interdisciplinary approaches: cybersecurity for law, cybersecurity for health sciences, cybersecurity in management. So there are a lot of landscapes which we can think about, and we can move into these particular directions. AI, considering future directions and trends, AI and machine learning, and how this AI and machine learning can support our cyber education. One of my talk on 1st of December will be on this particular topic, that how AI can support us. Quantum computing in cybersecurity. This is something which can be explored. Cloud and edge security, digital ethics, cyber hygiene and awareness. So these can be future trends and future things which we can address. Potential opportunities for higher educational institutions can be in many, many directions, starting from research and innovation, building global partnerships, whether that is global partnership for research, whether that is global partnership for staff exchange, or that is combination of these, or that is global partnership to have some sort of transnational education in cyber. Flexible learning models, big opportunity to develop flexible learning models, especially for forensic cyber. Professional certifications, injection of professional certifications into some of the modules. So students, when they will be studying that module, when they will pass, they should have confidence that they can do some sort of certification based on this, the learning module objectives they achieved from that. Diversity inclusions, this is another thing. If I try to sum up, addressing cyber education challenges in higher education is very important. it can lead to different directions. It can have directly impact on different factors. First is security, preparing professionals to defend against evolving cyber threats and protect critical infrastructures, where we are talking about preparing professionals so they can protect infrastructure, and they can be a good risk managers. Economy, reducing financial losses which can resulting from cyber attacks and contributing to global growth. National security, ensuring that national security in the digital domain is worked on it, or we think about this one. Innovation and research to develop new cybersecurity solutions. Student success, enhancing student employability and success in the job market. So basically, higher educational institutions are basically the center, or we can say that one of the most dynamic type of dynamic organizations are basically higher educational institutions, or any educational institution. They can help us, they can help basically to prepare and skilled workforce to meet the cybersecurity challenges which we will have in futures. And with the passage of time, when AI, artificial intelligence, is growing, at the same time, cyber challenges are also increasing. And if we will able to understand the gaps in market, if we will able to bridge those gaps, that will help us to address the security, economic, national security, innovation, and student success type challenges. So that's all. Thank you so much for listening. That is end of my today's presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That was very, very interesting, and particularly taking back to the way that with the virus was there, how it actually changed the whole situation.
True.
And it made quite a change. Now, there's no questions at the moment in the chat. Would anybody like to raise their hands, or by the way, the email's there if you'd like to make a note of that. But would you like to raise your hands or unmute yourself to ask any questions? I think just looking down the list. One of the things I was wondering about is, we talked about the sort of the global effect. Talking about the way that it's being taught in the UK, does that differ very much from other countries?
No, global impact I mean to say that our cyber education delivery is very good, honestly, overall. One of the things which can be done is contextualizing that one for the local context. If we are providing T&E education, or if our students are like international students, that can be very useful. Let's suppose if you are teaching them that how to present forensic evidences into a courtroom, then it's important to contextualize them for their own country, perhaps with the UK one, so they will able to understand globally that how things are happening in different continents and what are the rules and regulations of each country. So that will help them to build this type of understanding.
Great, thank you. Now, James, you have a question. Could you unmute yourself?
Yes. Thank you for that interesting talk, Massa. Thank you. You mentioned infrastructure and so on. To what extent do you think physical infrastructure is outdated and replaced by cloud infrastructure these days?
Okay, infrastructural protection. If I talk about like a general cybersecurity challenge in infrastructure, one thing we know very clearly that it's not easy to upgrade the infrastructures, whether that is banking sector or any type of organizations, whatever infrastructure they are carrying, it's not easy to upgrade. And that is basically invitation towards the cyber attacks, that there is a loophole due to certain reasons. It's not possible, perhaps, or limited resources, I can say, that is causing this one. So that is causing something. And if I talk about infrastructure with respect to cyber education delivery, till 2019, majority of higher educational institutions, they was not thinking in a way that how much we are confident to deliver to have cyber security type educational infrastructure outside of the campuses. So there is a challenge still. So that how we can enhance, especially Microsoft platform or Amazon platform, there is a big potential that industries with the help of academia can build some tools for different type of cybersecurity and forensic teaching aspects, and that can be used by universities worldwide, and that can be hosted on these cloud platforms, and that so students can use it or staff can use it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Is there any other questions or follow-up questions from James? No? No?
Thank you.
Which case, I think on behalf of everybody that's any other hands raised? No? Or anybody else would like to ask a question? In which case, what I would like to say, thank you very much on behalf of everybody.